Hey everyone, it's Michael here at Home Health Success Academy, and you are watching our Home Health Marketing Mistake video series. And in this video, we're talking about having worthless flyers. That's right, worthless flyers. So if you're a home care company, right, you provide non-medical, you provide home care, caregivers. You're a home health agency, you provide skilled nursing, physical therapy, occupational therapy. You're a hospice company, you also have palliative care that you guys offer, end of life service. Okay, so you have that. Now, a bare minimum thing you should have is a flyer for your business, okay? And so here's the thing, you should have one, but most agencies, from what I've seen, like for example, did a quick study, went to 100 agencies, grabbed 100 of their flyers, and I looked at it, and 90% of them are worthless, okay? The reason why they're worthless is this. There are several things that we see that they make mistakes on. Number one, they talk too much about their company. They have a whole page talking about how the company was established, who the owner is, who is the administrator, so and so, just talking about them. And one thing that you guys understand is that when you guys work with businesses, when you work in industries, the last thing you want to hear is people talking so much about them you haven't even known about what company, what product and services they can actually give. That's one thing that we see a lot that can be very problematic. The next thing is there's too much words in the flyers, meaning that there's paragraphs to be able to read. People have a short span of attention nowadays. It's the whole proof. You want to be able to figure something out about a company within an instant from you being able to be exposed to them. So one thing is your flyers should not have so many paragraphs in it. Just to let you guys know, I'm guilty on this. My first few flyers that I've had put together, I thought that this is what you're supposed to do. But the thing though is you should start studying people and studying yourself. The third thing that I see with the worthless flyers is a lot of agencies are following what other companies are actually doing. So what do other companies do? They have what we call trifold flyers. So because they had trifold flyers, you are going to have trifold flyers, and other agencies are going to have trifold flyers. But guess what? Once again, attention span of people. We need to start understanding the mindset of people. So people sometimes don't even want to bother opening up a trifold. That's a waste of their time. So one thing that you should do and start incorporating into your flyers is creating rack cards, back-to-back cards that has all the information that you need. We talked about paragraphs earlier. Use bullet points, quick explanation of what your company is, because your flyer is not what's going to sell your company. It never is. It's a branding opportunity for you to be able to get your information out there quick enough and people to absorb right away. Other parts that has problems with worthless flyers is the coloring. You know, if you're using just one black and white color, photocopy, you know, that can cause problems as well because it's not popping, right? So in Vegas, for example, they use a lot of pink, a lot of purple because that attracts people to money, to actually spend money. There's a lot of psychological things that happens when it comes to business, when it comes into these flyers. Another thing also that happens is your font size, right? A lot of people, you want to put so much information in your flyers, you start decreasing the fonts. You want to actually make the fonts larger to make people to be able to read it better. And next thing also with a lot of mistakes with flyers is this, is that you have one flyer and you're trying to use that to be able to market to referral sources and to get patients as well, to give it directly to patients. It shouldn't be that way. You should have two sets of flyers minimum, right? One for the potential referral sources to know about your organization and what you do so you can provide care for them. And number two is directly for the patients, the clients, the consumers. Those are people that's going to be able to have the explanation of what the services is valuable to them. Two separate flyers is the bare minimum. If I go into the advanced stages of marketing, we actually have a flyer separate for a nursing home, separate for an assisted living community, for a general practitioner, a separate flyer for a ortho, for a cardiologist. These are things that you guys have to have in the advanced stages that you guys can have. Marketing is so important. Your flyers are just the basic of everything. Even your website should not be a translation of what your flyers is, right? A lot of people think that a website should be just a flyer that they have that they put on the internet. That's not what it is. Your website needs to be completely different, and that's a whole different video and a different subject. We're still talking about just the flyers that you guys have right now. The basics of your flyers is very important. The next thing is the type of paper that you use. Are you using glossy? Are you using just a matte finish? What is going to be able to work with you guys? From what I've seen and what worked with me, a nice basic high gloss flyer always works well, especially if it's a rack card, right? And then also the thickness of the paper is important as well. You have to understand that. Next thing is the photos that we're using. I've seen flyers out there where they're actually using low resolution photos, where it's not even high res photos. And so you're gonna see that grainy look, the little square pixels still that are existing in there. You must be able to invest on a higher stock photo as possible. And then also, as what's funny, on these 100 flyers that we gathered, this was actually in California, because we were there for a big marketing event. And when we were in California, we grabbed these 100 business home health and home care flyers. What we've seen is that we've seen 5 particular photos that was evident in pretty much 22% of all these flyers. That's right, 22% of these flyers had the same 5 photos in their brochures. So one thing that came into mind is they probably used the same exact company that did the design and print for their product. And that's something that you cannot afford, is that right there alone, there's something similar about your product already. And so it's gonna be able to be something that a lot of people kind of notice. If I noticed it and I'm a little stickler, some other people can notice some of them as well. The next thing that we also see is the design of your logo. The logo is something that's very important. If you are needing logos to be designed, guess what? You can go to what they call Fiverr.com. If you go to Fiverr.com, they can actually design a logo for you for $5. Plus a $2 processing fee now, I think they added. But for $7, somebody can actually create a logo for you. It's so simple, right? And your logo needs to be something else as well. So we'll talk about that in another video, but right now we're just talking about your flyer. The next thing is this, is that you don't have a phone number listed right away. Put it this way, your phone number should be existed in the front automatically. Your website should be existing right there in the front. Your address for your company doesn't really matter, because in the home health and the home care industry, nobody really goes to your address. So you can put that in the back. It's just a waste of space. If you're using a rack card, if you still have one of those trifolds and you still want to stick around with the trifold brochures, it should be in the front and it should be bolded where people can actually see it right away. Okay, so these are just the basics, some of the basics that you guys need to be able to have in your flyers. So I just want to be able to share with you what we've seen that are big mistakes that you should actually can do and redesign it. Now, some of you guys are going to say this, well, Mike, it's going to cost me money to make another 1,000 flyers. Guess what? Okay, yes, it's going to cost you money to redesign. Yes, it's going to cost you money to be able to print another 1,000 flyers. It's going to cost you $200, $300 to do that. Let's say that's the cost. And it shouldn't be that much, because there's a way to be able to make it cheaper. A lot of companies out there that can charge less for really great products. But let me ask you guys this. If you bought 1,000 flyers last month, and you still have those 1,000 flyers in your office right now, that means your marketing team is really not marketing great. A good marketer should go through at least a minimum of 5,000 business cards in 1 year. Should go through a minimum of about 10,000 flyers in 1 year. Meaning that 1,000 flyers needs to disappear every month. How is that possible? Every time that you visit, you should be dropping off some flyers. Everywhere you go, you should have rack cards that you can put your flyers in and leave it there. Everywhere you go, somebody should be getting your flyer, your trifold, if that's what you're still using, but honestly, switch to a rack card and you'll be surprised how much better you can get your company's information out there. So that's just the basics mistakes that a lot of agencies make when it comes to creating a business flyer for their agency. So if you have any questions, always give us a call, 630-340-8990. We're here to be able to help you increase your sales, increase your clients, increase your census, and create a profitable agency. My name is Michael Echeverria, and always understand that home health marketing is easy if you know what you're doing.